Glass is open.
Okay, we good.
My mama
All
got
right,
no
y'all.
chill. No chill.
Y'all, we gonna get this started here in a minute, y'all. Like I said tonight, I'm gonna try to be more informational than anything, y'all. You good? Everybody good? Everybody good? No.
The alcohol
All
here.
right, y'all. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Iamchekelaspeaks. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Tonight we are going to finish our talk on poly. I call it poly part 2. I have a beautiful panel up here. I have Mr. Perfy in the building. La Chocolate. I call it lie though. I go by Price in the building. West Side in the building. We got Noro and Rollo God 3.0. Let's go.
Let's go.
So, last episode, part 1, we were speaking on poly relationships. Also, poly relationships within the meta space. We didn't get to go into that too much, which I would like to go into today because if you dating inside and outside, you poly. People gonna say, no, you're not. Yes, you are. You are. So, I so I had wanted to dig deeper into the categories last show. We didn't get to too much do that. But then also the stigmas around poly, because they were saying that people it's a way for them to cheat and have their cake and eat it too. So we had West Side, who was the monogamous, you know, person. Was there anybody else I had called well, I'm not in no category right now, but Nora, what you was on the poly, I said not the poly, you was on the monogamous side, right?
Yep.
And your opinion, was it your opinion that people who are poly just want, it's like a free way for them to cheat? Was that or we had their cake and eat it too?
Yeah, we gave both sides of it, sacrificial, and we gave the other side, which is just having too much on your plate.
Well, I feel like she's looking
And so my guy Price was just speaking in reference last time, if I'm correct, of being in love or loving more than one person at a time. Yeah. And it was some argument around that not being possible. Is it okay if we start there about being in love with more than one person at a time?
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna start by saying it's not for everyone. People have to have the capacity to do it and the willingness to do it, and really be, have intent. Because a lot of times when you talk about cheating, bringing that word up, you really are talking about lying. But there is a possibility of loving two people just off of the strength of you have the possibility. I don't know how
romantically,
to
right?
Yeah, romantically. It's just that as humans, what we're taught, we guard ourselves after we have committed to one person. But if you take that idea out of your head and just know, like, you're going to be loving this person intentionally, you're not just out here just trying to, have sex, fuck them or whatever, unless that's what y'all want to do. Like, you have to treat that relationship just like any other relationship that's monogamous. You know what I'm saying? You have to spend time, pay attention. We talked a little bit about this, and really nurture the relationship. You got to pay attention to two people. It takes more effort. That's why I was telling Dean the other time, like, when you're in multiple relationships, it takes more effort than just one. But if you suck at one relationship, this shouldn't be for you, really, honestly.
Where you at on it, Rello? Because you kind of, and that's why I'm kind of reiterating too, Rello. This is his. He wasn't here with us last time, so where do you stand on? Are you poly? Are you monogamous? Were you a little bit of both? Poly, mono? That's what I call it.
I don't know. I can't really answer that question because I just be vibing, you know what I'm saying? And whatever direction it go, it just go that way, you know what I'm saying? It ain't
so do you date two women at a time and both of them know about each other?
Oh, well, more definitely they gonna know about each other if I was to be able to condone it. But nah, I'm like, I'd rather deal with one person and one personality at a time, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
Yeah.
So is dating multiple people considered poly?
See, this is where we got deep at.
If
right
you're
there.
dating,
That's what.
I wouldn't think so.
See the vetting process, because I said to me the vetting process is poly, and we had a little argument over that
I
part.
think it's
So
more
I'm
of a
glad Westside.
classification of like relationship. Like if you deem it a relationship, then it's different than just being single and dating multiple.
Thank you.
So there is a difference between you actually talking to somebody, dating somebody, and then being in a relationship with somebody. Correct?
Think of it like two jobs.
Talking and
Yeah,
dating
you know
is
the
two
stages
different
of a
things.
relationship, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
do you
another
know
thing.
when you just talking, because you're just in the talking phase, y'all are just hanging out, doing your thing, whatever the case may be, passing by,
like
getting to know what that person's about, right? Then you up the next level by saying that you want to have some type of solidified relationship with that person, and then that seriousness starts to kick in, right? But if you're just in the talking stages of people, then you're just freely being single out with other
Yeah,
people.
I wouldn't consider
This is not like
that
being in a solidified relationship and then opening the door to another relationship. Like that's just
Right.
it's a lot. Price.
Oh, yeah, I gotta check it. Say it one
Yeah.
time, the last
Oh.
question.
I just wanted to get some clear definitions on what what's what.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Another
the
thing
dating
I
aspect versus. Oh my bad. I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just asking clarification, like where y'all talking about dating versus being exclusive. Like
So
committed.
okay, so here's the thing. So here's what it is, right? Here's the breakdown. Talking is like, okay, me and her just met in the grocery store. I'm getting to know her to see if I even want to date her, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm interested, she's interested. Okay, we're going to start dating. Within the dating stages, we either are going to say, hey, I really like you. I really, dig you or whatever, how you want to put it in today's terms. And I think we should be exclusive. And then after that, okay, now it's however you want to put it. You my girlfriend, boyfriend, we're in a relationship, significant, however you want to put it. And then after that leads to engagement and marriage, right? So
It
I
doesn't
think,
have to.
well, I mean, it doesn't have to, but tradition or the traditional sense. But I think
Are y'all
it's
sleeping
important
together
to,
during the talking and the dating stage, or y'all just?
if the two people decide to, absolutely.
But if they decide to, yeah.
I
And so at that
personally-
point, do you let her know? Because this is my thing. When I'm like, you met her at the grocery store, you was already in talking with someone else. You're single. You are single. So when you met her at the grocery store, you've already been sleeping and talking to somebody else. And then when you met her, y'all vibe for a couple of weeks. Then y'all might have started sleeping together. Are you gonna let her know? Like,
Question.
If
Go
I
ahead.
haven't sat
So-
you down to tell you that we're in an exclusive relationship, I'm not sure why you're guessing. Like it's just
That's
weird to
where
me that
my
you're sitting around
question
guessing
comes
and,
in. I do have a
attaching those emotions
question.
and attaching those emotions.
So, right. So with poly, like I said, I'm new to it. So, the one thing that I did have some confusion with, Pervy, you've been this way forever. It's not something new to you. I do have a question. So, how they were speaking about being exclusive with someone, or in a poly relationship, you're exclusive with two people. Do you consider that being exclusive with two people, or do you always consider yourself single because you can bring in another partner? Like, do you consider yourself being exclusively with two people, or are you always single but available to
bringing
other
in
people?
somebody else.
Right. See, I ain't gonna lie though. What I say to that, in my mind, I will feel like I'm single because I'm playing that role. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna know what man gonna be able to close his mind in to feel like, because you know what I'm saying, we adopted to love one person at a time. You know what I'm saying? We ain't like the other people that got 12 wives. We built on a structure of we love one person at a time. You feel me? So if I was to be put in a
Kirby, you on
situation
mute.
where I have two people, I still feel single minded because I'm still the other. You know what I'm saying? Cause she add up. Yeah, I ain't straight up, let go. Hey,
That's not committed. That's not committed at that point.
yeah, you ain't gonna
Can
be
you,
able to.
can you answer that, Kirby? Whatever you want to.
I'm like, if you like exclusively like dating two, you're not single. You're not.
Single. Okay.
You can exclusively
But
date two people.
So what if you are dating them two?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
like having two jobs.
so, what so my thing is like kind of what La said with that. If you are exclusively dating these two people, and let's say you met someone at work and not purposely or anything, and do you let them know, well, I'm interested in somebody, and then they give you permission to go ahead and try to bring that? Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
So Pervy,
you're like, if you're exclusive dating two people, you're not single. So if you at work, you happen like, damn, it's a third person that I like, and you want to like if
this just feels like open emotions. It just feels like open emotions. I like you
Yeah.
today, so I think I might add you into this relationship.
Yeah, now
No,
that I can't.
What is the
No,
biggest?
it's just
My
purposes.
biggest question with this
no,
is that are you crossing a fine
No,
line
it-
between polygamy and being polyamorous? Like,
Right, I'm not-
hold on, but
I'm
are we
not
crossing the
fucking
line?
with
Because
No,
at this
it's-
point, what
it's
you're
all-
talking
it's all-
about is just as
categorize
if
No,
in a polygamous
it's all
relationship,
under the
we
same
have to
umbrella.
because we're just sitting in a relationship and just saying I'm about to have a sister wife because my husband is interested. Like, it just sounds about the same. What separates you from being in a polyamorous to polygamous? What's the
Yeah,
separation?
like let's categorize it first for the audience.
We need to,
gonna
yeah.
do it
All
perfect.
right.
So say what
Not all polygamous get
polyamorous
married
is,
though.
What
and
wives?
say what
Couple
a
wives.
polygamous is. Can we kind of categorize that?
When you look at polygamous, answer for polygamous is like it's like
Everybody in the same house, like married.
it's like
you know what I'm saying?
no, it's like yeah,
But
it's
don't
like
don't
it's like-
polyamorous people do that?
I
Be in the same
they do
house?
that
Develops
too.
It's not-
into it. It
yeah,
develops
but it's
into
not
it.
like
From my understanding, polyamory is saying, okay, I'm married. I also have a boyfriend. My boyfriend probably has a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like a polyamorous type relationship. But polygamy is my husband and I share a girlfriend, right? And then you marry
No.
possibly.
it's the other way.
Fix me.
Polygamy is like multiple couples that date. Like polygamy,
Is they
it's
fucking?
like
What they doing? I'm sorry.
like it's yeah, y'all out. Like say like
Oh, fucking each other.
Yeah,
So
say like
today
it's
I'm gonna fuck
whole-
his
whole-
girlfriend
polyamory or
and then
polygamy?
vice versa. Is that I thought it was polygamy.
polygamy is like multiple couples that love each other. Hey,
Okay.
it's crazy when you get into
Oh, I
that
get
term.
it.
It's
So,
like
so
it's
two
it's
women
crazy.
who love one man. That man
feel
loves
like it's
those
a
two.
bit-
So, yeah,
women,
there's
that
like
man is with
polyandry,
that woman
yeah.
and that woman.
It's so there's polyamorous, polygamy, and then polyandry, right? So this, I'm just correct me if I'm
No.
wrong.
no.
Hold on. Y'all running
got it.
y'all running in the same circle.
All right,
so
hold
one
on.
one
All right, hold on.
polyandry when a
polygamy-
woman has multiple husbands, right? And vice versa.
Yeah,
So we're just on the opposite side.
polyandry is a woman
What's
with
the
multiple
difference?
husbands.
It all sounds the
Husbands.
same.
And then
Yeah, but it all sounds the
then
same.
then you got my umbrella. I fall under polygamy. Polygamy is a man with multiple wives. Then you got solo
What?
poly.
Mm-mm.
So solo poly is that means you're poly, but you're open to dating like any poly couple. Like you ain't settled with one couple.
Ooh-wee.
Then you got
West
her.
Side.
So you said poly and
Yeah.
not, but isn't that technically just that's just bigamy, right? That's just being a bigamist. I'm not trying to come for you. I'm really not trying to come for you.
Polygamy
But I'm
is
just
when
saying.
you have multiple wives or husbands.
Hold on. Polygamy is having multiple wives, but he's not married to all those wives at the same
No.
time. So we're gonna break it down in details, right? He's only married
Yeah,
to one
so
person at
polygamy,
that time.
you're talking about
Angel,
adoption.
do you want
Hold
to
on,
come
but
up?
you just said polyamorous is that you have a wife, right? And then you have another
I
person.
said girlfriends. No, I was
Come
speaking
on.
like just romantic
Come on.
relationships
Come
in
on.
general.
Do you
Not
are you
saying
married?
that you're married.
Price, you
Yeah,
married,
you can
right?
have my spot.
I'm legally,
Come
yeah.
here,
Yeah,
come up
legally.
here, Angel.
Yes, and then you have another
come right
person,
here.
right?
Yeah.
That's
That
what
makes you what? Hold on, that makes you what though?
Pol-
We just gonna break down the
Polygamy.
walls and not
That's
knowing
what-
what shit is.
That's a
Okay, so we got some.
polyamorous relationship.
We
But
got
when you
somebody
talk
that's
about
actually
polygamy, like you look at
okay.
other like cultures and stuff like that. Like you're
There's
talking
no-
about a
there's no-
husband that has like multiple wives and stuff like that, or a
He has
wife
no
that has
wives. He's not
multiple
married to them
husbands.
legally, right? He's just
But
married
that's
in
what
his
I'm
own
saying.
brain
I
legally.
wouldn't consider that to
But
be
that's-
polygamy.
It don't
That's
work
just
like
a whole
Okay, we got.
nother-
Hold on, we got
that's-
somebody.
y'all mixing
Okay,
up.
okay, hold on, y'all.
That's why.
That's not what I'm.
somebody in the hot seat.
That's not what I'm saying. I don't think we're on the same page.
Okay, we got somebody in the hot
Y'all
seat real
making
quick.
it
Come on, hot
very,
seat.
very
Complicated.
complicated.
Okay.
And the very simple
Y'all,
thing is
let's get the hot
polyamorous.
seats. Oh, there she go.
Polyamorous just means you have multiple partners. Polygamy just means you're married to
Yeah.
multiple people.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're not married to multiple people. But you're not married to multiple people. That's what we're.
I
Hold
know
on.
that.
That's what we're.
But no.
Definition
Hold
on
on,
Google
hold on.
or whatever
The
dictionary.
definition on Google means that you have many relationships with somebody. So if we want to break it down in
That's
Google terms. Is just somebody
polyamorous.
right now the Google terms of what they feel that
Polyamorous.
is. But that's all the same thing. And then to say that you're married to one
Polygamy,
person
just
and have a
like
relationship with another person is a
monogamy.
bigamist. So when does the circle end? Because y'all are just giving names to other things that mean exactly the same thing. And I'm going to keep saying it because it makes sense. Ready? No, there's not a difference.
Because there's
If you
always
are married to
one
one
small
person
thing
and then
that
you
makes it
decide to get
different.
married to another person, that's bigamist. That's a bigamist. If you're a polygamist, it's the same thing as having many wives
What's
in your own
marriage
brain,
to
but
you?
being legally married to
But what
one.
about-
Hold on, I'm not talking about to me.
Legally.
I'm talking about what they define it. I'm talking about what they define it as. So I'm saying it like this: what breaks the separation of a polyamorous, a whatever we are calling it these days? Because there's like 75 different versions with just a triple definition of the relationship being turned around. And I want you to understand exactly what I'm saying before you jump in. It means if you're defining the relationship that you're in as the person being the lead person in that relationship, and then you're just changing that word for the lead person in that relationship, we're doing the same exact thing, but naming it differently compared to what person is the lead in the relationship. If a woman has many husbands or many boyfriends or whatever the case may be, she has a different name. But it's the same, hold on, it's the same role that you're
Please don't
playing
put somebody in the
as a man with different husbands. And I want you to understand exactly what I'm saying. We're circling around the same exact thing with different names dependent on the leadership in the relationship. That's it.
There shouldn't be a
If you
leadership
really
in
go
this
through,
relationship.
the fine tuning, it's just a relationship difference of who's the leadership in that relationship. If he's married and then his relationship ideal is different than how he rounds it out, we're giving it different names, but we're all supporting the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. You're no different than the next person in that relationship, whether it's a polygamist or a bigamist, because you're practicing the same idealistic. It's the same thing. No matter which way you put it, she's in the lead. Now she has many husbands. He's in the lead. He has many wives.
No, there
No,
is
no,
no-
no, no, no,
Okay, yeah.
there is
Hold
no
on,
Purvey
nah,
go.
No,
Let
I'm
Purvey
finna
go.
burst. I'm finna bust that bubble right there. A bigamist is person that's married to multiple women that don't know about each other.
That's not true.
difference.
Yes, it is.
Listen to me. A bigamist is a person who's married and just
and-
marries
and-
another person. They
Okay,
technically-
well,
some- a
let's-
lot of
And
them do
they
each other.
don't know about
Hey,
each other, and
real
they don't
quick.
know
That's
about
not
each
true, but
other.
that's not
That's what I
true.
was
You
gonna
can't
say.
define. You can't
Let's-
define the
in certain
100%.
areas.
You define maybe one person you may know who may not know about each other. You can't define the rest of the world not knowing each other. So you can't break the barrier. Try the percentages.
Okay,
How many
so
people do you know
can I say
percentages
this?
of the world that have not known each
Can
other?
I say this?
I don't think so.
The thing that I thought I had an understanding about
just
poly
means to marry
relationships
another person while
is
being
Another
that
person.
they
Yeah.
are. Okay, so hold
That's what
on.
it is.
The thing that I thought that I was in understanding with about poly relationships is everyone is aware of each other with the communication. Anything outside of that is cheating or bigamy or whatever they want to call it.
Yes.
Literally.
But
So
isn't that the
what-
same as
hold
a
on, hold
polygamist?
on,
They all
hold
know
on.
about each other.
What I'm saying
No,
is,
that's-
what
yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
what
is,
you're
But
saying,
yeah,
though.
What I'm saying is-
you can't
y'all
call
got
it a
what?
bigamist.
from
You-
what
you
I've
can't call-
learned
you can't
is
call it
the
a
all the same
difference
thing.
between
All the same thing.
No, it's
the
not.
difference. Okay,
No,
so
no,
you can
bigamy's
have a
not the same as
you
polygamy.
you can have a relationship where you are dating multiple people and they are aware and in communication of you're in communication and they're aware of each other. Now, anything outside of that, like I said, from my understanding, that's where the cheating and the other titles come in. Now,
Yeah.
I wanted Angel to speak because Angel, you're poly, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted Angel to speak because we asked Purvey this last time. So how did you know, or how did it come about to where you knew that that was the lifestyle that was fit for you? Or, that was what the best decision was?
Well, it was a very long, with extra G's, journey of figuring that out. Back when I was in middle school, I already knew that I liked men and women, and for some reason, my brain just found it normal that if I had a boyfriend, it would only be cheating if I had a second boyfriend. It wouldn't be cheating if I had a girlfriend. And I know, obviously, I know that now. That's not that's not the case. I was in middle school. Okay, I was in middle school.
But can I say something real quick?
graduating.
I feel like if that's the dynamic, this is my opinion about any
The
relationship or
dynamic you fucking
gender.
choose to love,
If
then
you
it's the way
create,
you
I feel
wanna
like you
love.
create your own dynamic of your relationships, and if everybody is in agreement, it's okay. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was the ladder of that. That's why I ain't pick up on that until later in life. So I would just be like, I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend, so what? And then, sometimes, all right, not sometimes, but, I hurt people because they're just like, this is not what you're supposed to do. Like, this is not it, whatever. As I got older, I have two sons with this man that I was with for 7 years. And I had decided to play on the monogamous role, and I don't know why, but I did. And then he turned out to still be, he was, cheating or whatever. So it was just like, what are we doing this for? Like, we could be, we could have either the kitchen table.
We could be doing it together.
Right. Like either we can know each other's partners, or, one of the boundaries that we had set was that he didn't want to know when I was, with partners. Like if I'm going out, whatever. But he didn't want to be like, oh, tell me all the details and stuff like that. Where me, I also not only am I poly, but I also have that kind of cup queen in me. So I'm like, yeah, tell me about your day, or tell me da 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 da. Like I'm like, yeah, like, I'm excited and shit.
And that's what. But see, this is what I'm saying, y'all. People think that that's not normal. It's like to them that's the stigmatism that nobody should be able to tell you that you're sleeping with, that there's with someone else. No, that shouldn't be like. But this stuff is real. This is real life. And some of these people, like I said, they're not asking for this. Like she said, I was in fucking middle school. I didn't understand, but this is how my brain was working, and I'm like, what the fuck? And that's what I wanted to bring out of this poly shit, to let people know, like, some of this shit people did not, just like when you have people talk about homosexuality. I would remember being 5 and 4, and I had a cousin where, hey, you gonna be special when you grow up. You play with you do my Barbie doll hair better than mine. So, like, I feel like it's not something that people choose, and that's why I wanted to do this segment on the poly thing, because for me to be, I've been monogamous all my life, but my last real relationship was a poly. I was interested. I wasn't with the other person, but that was out of brain. I was like, wow, but I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't. It was weird. I didn't. So that's why I wanted to have this segment. But yeah, Angel, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Or go ahead, Westside.
So I was curious to ask you, did your partner, was the gentleman aware that you were of the poly mindset? Like to begin
That's where
with?
we messed up. That's the reason why we are no longer together today, because we realized, things were incompatible between us, and the communication just was not clicking. So boundaries were being pushed past, and it just kind of.
So he wasn't aware. So right.
What kind of boundary?
Not from when we first met and started talking. No.
Do you think he would have been more open to it had it been an open discussion to begin with?
Did you want to speak? Okay, that's
because my thing is if he's going to
say something, that's where you see. I'm sorry.
Because my thing is if he's going to cheat. So this is what I don't understand about some men, right? You're going to cheat and go behind her back when. If all you would have known was, okay, she's interested in being poly, and you had the pass to do it, why not take the pass to do it? And then I just don't. To me, I don't understand it.
Honestly, I don't either.
No, but like I'm not. My bad, Angel. I'm not glorifying it, but what I'm saying, because you know me,
I'm not saying you're glorifying it.
Okay.
I'm just saying at this point. Sorry, I was eating that pretzel real good. At this point, at what point in time do we start? And you know already, because I'm a therapist, right? So we're gonna go through the process. At what point in time do you say to yourself, "You're just not a commitment person," and that you can't hold these commitments, but you need somebody? Hold on.
I think I have a little bit of an answer to that.
Hold on. I wasn't finished. Hold on. But at what point in time do you say that you need to have something still to solidify the normalcy of what you want for a society? Because some part of you is holding on to something that needs to solidify something to stay stable, right, to everyone else in that normalcy, right? And then the other part of you is needing the freedom. So at what point in time do y'all become? I talk about this all the time. The reflection. We were reflecting, right? what are we doing? At what point in time we're just highlighting what we are willing to accept from other people? This sounded like, and just from the outside view, it just sounded like somebody was cheating, and now I'm just going to accept that they're cheating, and then I'm just going to change the dynamics of what that is. So now we're both doing the same thing. It doesn't really simplify. It doesn't give an answer to anything. It's not simplifying anything. It's not. It's just complicating more by adding names to something. Just be free. Just be free.
That's that one.
How many people
do?
do?
I would like to say
Yeah.
something to that.
No, but how many people are you hurting along the way? Are you sitting
Okay.
here taken away from? We're talking about attached emotions with people. At what point in time are you getting all the things that you need, and the cup is still not full for other people inside of those relationships? You can't manifest being full in everyone's relationship with just
Go
you
ahead,
either.
Go ahead, Lie.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, to answer that, what you're speaking on is literally what I'm going through. So
Yes,
that's why
yeah.
It wasn't that I was trying to interrupt you. I'm a forgetful
Honey,
person.
I don't take no biggies. You
Oh,
good.
no, it's cool. And like I
Hey.
said, I smoke, so I'll forget if people keep rambling. So let me just get this out. My situation is like this, and I wasn't really open enough last time because, like I said, it is a very vulnerable situation. It's a very vulnerable conversation, and I think when you tread these waters, you have to tread lightly to not take on what somebody else is saying, where it fucks up what you're already thinking or leads you to think something else. So I'm able to speak my mind now. Um, I've been married for 13 years. Within the last 5 years, there was cheating on my husband's behalf. There was also cheating in the beginning. I should have left then. I should have left when he cheated 5 years ago. There was a consistent battle of do I want to stay here because I love him or do I want to be single? I chose then by staying with him that I would follow everybody else's doctrine and stay married because you have ups and downs in marriage and this is what happens in marriage and this is where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to fight. You're not supposed to give up. I lived by everybody's traditional way, right? So when it came to the point, I don't know if I'm able to speak. Can I speak?
Good. Yeah.
All right.
Hmm?
When I met Price, things became very, very different. I listened
Speak
to
your
some
truth,
things that
baby.
I listened to some things that he was experiencing in his life, and also I met Angel. Then I met Pervy, and the things that they were experiencing helped me understand that what I was feeling wasn't wrong. So what I learned within those last 5 years after my husband cheated on me was that I love him with all my heart. However, I don't think monogamy is where me and him have a strong suit. However, within that understanding, we both understood we didn't want to leave each other either. However, we want to see each other be prosperous. Now, my husband had a problem with control. There was also so much control that it became abusive at times. You become selfish. That person becomes selfish in their control. He didn't realize he was being controlling no matter how much I threw it on the table, you know? So what happened was last year, I decided that I was done, that I no longer wanted to be in this marriage because marriage is not working for us clearly. So I decided to leave. When I separated from him, it was the most painful thing. No matter what he did, it still hurt. Like I did not want to be separated from my husband. I wanted things to work. However, I knew in my heart that it wouldn't. So, what do you do in that situation? Is what I asked myself. When you want to be with somebody and that person wants to be with you, however, you are not working, but you do see fit to be together. This is where the confusion started for me. Then I met Price. Price was somebody that I could talk to, not feel fully like I have to commit to talking to this person, but just somebody that made me feel open enough to express, unlike a friend. And then those feelings changed. They developed into, damn, I really want to talk to him today. Or this is something that I could have shared with Price. He would have enjoyed this as where my husband would have brushed it off. I couldn't share it with him at the time. And I was like, damn, he's actually willing to listen to me right now. Price was not single either. So it did begin on my behalf. And like I said, this is my truth. I'm a grown ass woman, a couple years from 40. Fuck whoever thinks something different. This is my opinion. This is my word.
Speak your truth, baby.
At that time, it was cheating. Whether it was physical or not, I cheated on my husband with Price. Not sexually, but emotionally, mentally, and in other way, any other way except physically or sexually. And I had to actually go to my husband and let him know, um, I do have feelings for someone else. And within this almost a year's time, I've developed a love for Price as well. So I am not here arguing with monogamy. I'm not arguing with poly because there are some things about poly that I still don't like. Like I have this problem of possession, but that's because I've been married for 13 years. So when I expressed to my husband that, okay, we've chose not to leave, we've chose to stick, but I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And there are some things that you are not doing. And no matter how much I ask, you refuse to change those things about yourself. When do you realize that trying to make someone change something about themselves is fucking control? I can't change you. I can't make you change unless you want to change for me. And if you don't want to change for me, then that is your own personal thought. However, I have the ability and the capacity to make up my mind on what I want to do next. So when I brought it to him and I let him know, yes, this has been happening, he stayed. He said, this is going to be difficult for me, but I understand your feelings of freedom because I have not been the person you married for the last 5 years. This is new. This has never come from somebody who is stuck by one way our entire marriage. So it is different for me and it's also different for him. Do I sometimes feel that my feelings changing towards him that I wanted to, it's not that I was like, oh, I see Polly, that's what that is. Okay, I want it. That's not how it happened. How it happened was I ended up meeting somebody who met a need for me without a sexual connection in that way, and I fell in love with him. Um, this person also fell in love with me. So I do now believe that you can love two people at the same time. Absolutely. It doesn't make it wrong and it doesn't make it right. It depends on what your vision of it is. That's your view.
You create your dynamic. And
Right.
I have a question
I'm not
to
against
ask
any
that.
of it. And
I
that
want
wasn't definitely my
I
argument.
want to hit
No,
the hot seat.
not your argument.
Did you want to
Babs.
speak, CJ?
I just spoke,
You on mute.
my situation.
Let the hot seat speak, y'all, for a minute. Go ahead, CJ.
What a lot of people don't really know is I was married, but during my marriage
good.
I was poly. So there's a actual community. When I say a community, it's a community. Uh, Believe it or not, probably I think about like if you want to be honest, most of the people that was poly they had over probably 10 years or more. Not five, not six, not 2 years, but most of them were 10 and over. The thing about it is, for a lot of people that you have to realize and have to understand, it's a relationship thing that you do between each other. It's any relationship is between you and that person. Point blank. Period. Doesn't matter what anybody else say. Uh, I'm sorry. That's just it is what it is.
You create the
Uh,
dynamic.
you create the dynamic. It's honesty. When you with somebody more than 10 years, you have no choice but to be honest because you know they ticks, you know they everything. So the thing about it is, it's nothing but an honesty. When I'm talking about honesty, I mean honesty because sometimes honesty really hurts your feelings when you know that you can't deliver something in this area and
Yeah.
this other area. And sometimes I'm not saying that polygamy works. Sometimes and poly works. Sometimes it's not for everybody. And when I say that, I mean it. It's not for everybody because there's some people that's in that community that does take advantage. It's if it's nothing but a sexual thing, that means you need to go to kink. That's
I
that's
want
that's
to
what that is. That's
I
just the
want to
truth.
speak to what he just said. Now, when you say it, some people use it for what
Mm,
it shouldn't be. I believe that. I do. I feel like sometimes when people get into it, now this for me, I know we have the different terms and the categories, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like some people, I will say, they just get into it to use it to their advantage, and then you got
yeah.
the different categories, right? And they really want to do it, but they're not educated on it. And when the reason why I say educated, because people feel like, well, no, these just a whole bunch of people that came up with different shit for them to be able to fuck multiple people. I feel like I know people personally, even some on this stage, that they're emotional. Like it does not have anything to do with a physical and to
Mm,
or sexual contact. And
It's
to
a
me,
difference.
the greatest connection that you could have with another
mhm.
human being is spiritual and mental. That's just me. I'm not saying this for everybody. This is just me. um let's be honest, sex and touching and all of that can be intense and confusing and also get you into shit that you're not meant to be in. So if you can come outside of that and connect with somebody, I feel like that's important, and that's how we got here. Now, I said this on the last show. Some people will disagree. Like I said, it's not for everybody. Me coming from a monogamous background, and then I went into a poly relationship. I think it was called, like I told y'all, like a V or a triangle, where it was a guy, and then um, he had another woman, but I never was intimate with them. It was like he was dating both of us exclusively but separately. And I was fine with that because when I met him, he came to me with the information like, look, I like you and I know you like me, but this is my lifestyle. If you want to be here, this is what I do. This is who else is over here. This is how I live. And I feel like when people say, well, no, they just use that to cheat or I feel like that's incorrect because somebody's letting you know this might not be for you. And even though I like you, I'm not going to change who I am or try because I will hurt you if I try to do that. So I'm letting you know the disclaimer up front. This is who I am. And so I ended up indulging in that. Now I will be transparent. The reason why I left is because the other young lady could not accept my presence in the situation, and it got to where he's been with her for so long. When I let him know, like, you need to put that bitch in her place, he was like, no, she's like this and she's so this and she's so Christian. And I'm like, nigga, no, she came for me. And it got to the point to where because of their history, I couldn't get him to see certain things. And he's like, I'm like, nigga, that bitch is monogamous. She's not poly because it shouldn't be a problem. But that's what I say just to be transparent. But I did want to hit on the point that when I wanted to ask earlier, when we talk about metaverse, I know a couple within the metaverse where on the outside, kind of like what we have on the stage, they have partners. And this particular situation that I know of, their partners are aware of what they're doing in the metaverse. Feelings and emotions is attached to that. They've never been physical, but feelings and emotion is attached to it, and their partners are aware. So one young lady was like, "Well, I'm not poly." Quit. I said, "Yes, you are." And she was like, "No, I'm not." I said, "So you telling me your spouse that you're married to on the outside of the metaverse know that you are emotionally attached to someone in here and you contact them on the outside of here for support, mental support, spiritual support, help, all of that, and your partner's okay with it?" She was like, "Yeah." And I said, "That's not poly?" And she said, "No." We had a big argument over it. And I'm like, "Okay." So I wanted to speak on because I try to gear a lot of my content towards metaverse relationships. So I wanted the panel to speak on that. Like, if you are dealing, I know people feel like because it's only avatars, what you doing here is not valid. And I hate that stigma, but let's be clear. People say that. Let's say people are emotionally involved with someone in here, but they have a real relationship that they're functioning in on the outside. Isn't that poly, even though you haven't touched them and you're only in the
Mhm.
metaverse?
Yeah, because it's not just sexual. People got that stigma on poly, like, oh, y'all just out here trying to fuck. Like, no, it could be an emotional connection, like how the chocolate was saying. Like, you feel like what's the word, safe with somebody, you know what I mean, and it begins to grow emotionally where you are so attached to the person that forms into love, like just naturally how a monogamous relationship will form, but except you don't block your heart and guard yourself off. Soon as you get into a monogamous relationship, you leave yourself open because the other person that you're allowing in, because you're not hopping people again, you're not out here just willy-nilly like, oh, I like you today, I like you today. No, you build a relationship with these people, you know what I
Price,
mean?
why do
So it's
people
not,
think when you say poly is sex? Why do people
you
think
gotta ask them.
as soon as no, I'm just saying, like, as soon as you say anything about multiple, they're like, oh, you just fucking
I
fucking
mean,
a
that's
whole
a
bunch.
part of
Like,
love though. It don't gotta be, but that is a part of love, like physical connection as well, but it doesn't have to be that though. You know what I mean?
Well, it's such a. I think it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? It's such an uncharted territory for the masses that you have no other choice
Society.
but to assume that it is sex. Because honestly speaking, I never really knew anybody of the poly belief until I came in here. You know what I'm
really?
saying? Or it, it's a fact. Or it's a situation to where I'm viewing it as, okay, they're cheating on each other, but I didn't have the background knowledge of what was going on. So I think that's the biggest thing of the
What's I
of
can ask you a
it
question?
being such a what's up.
I know you monogamous and you know you my guy because I like West Side to me is like one of the most positive, just good dudes. And this is me asking you to be transparent. Have you ever dated or slept with multiple women at a time without making them aware?
No, I'm just that honest. Once I say I'm dedicated to you and we're exclusive, that's it. You know
But what
I'm
about the
saying?
dating phase?
If I'm
What
if
about
it's-
what you and Neuro was talking about? You dating. When I say
we
to me,
dating.
dating does not mean that you're committed. To me, maybe that's
No.
what the thing is. My perspective is
but
if you're
but
just
again,
dating,
I think so.
That's not the same thing because that's we're talking about idealistic, so we can't just say people not married because people have like you have your different versions of being poly. People have their
That was
different
my point
versions of
earlier.
being married, being married. But that wasn't my point. I'm just saying now because that's the point that you just
Right.
said.
But for me, if I'm talking,
it's an idealism. We're just giving more names.
That's
right,
another
for me,
title
if I'm
too,
talking,
adding idealism to things like that's titling
That's
something as well.
but that's the point is that we're just giving another name. At this point, everything's a situationship. At
So
this
I,
point,
I gotta
like
ask
at
you
this
something.
point,
I know.
So
that you
there's
say
a
you're-
situation.
I'm not
you said
against.
you're-
I'm not.
hold
You
on.
gotta
I'm not
define
against
I know
anything.
that
I'm
you're
just against the
saying-
fact that we just keep putting labels on more
No,
labels on more
I
labels
know-
and just be honest in
I
life
know that
in
you
general.
say you're a therapist. Well, you don't say you are a therapist, right? And please don't take offense to this, but I do
don't.
feel like at some points you are extremely biased because there are a lot of things that I say.
Actually, I'm
that-
not though.
well,
First of all, I think that what you
it comes
perceive
off
from
as
the
biased.
what you take
So
away from
okay,
the
that's
hold
what
on,
I'm
Neuro,
trying to
let
say
her
is
finish.
that
Let her finish.
that's
sometimes
your
you do,
hold-
as a
hold-
therapist, you do come
Let her
off
finish, Neuro.
because you have to play on being open to listening to somebody who is expressing something mentally. That's what therapists do. You know, they're
Yeah.
here to help you to
Not
get
always.
through
No,
shit
that's not
in
the truth.
life.
But yeah,
But that's what most of it is. I've been through therapy. This shit don't
no,
work.
yeah, that's not.
So I feel like
That's not what
a
it is,
lot
but
of
okay.
a lot of the things that you say are biased because you've agreed
Nope,
to things that
not
I've
at all.
said that were not leaning towards polygamy or polyamory, but you've also agreed to a lot of things that are.
I agree to the
So, to
standard
me,
of it,
sometimes
and that's
I feel like-
hold on, and I
I
think
feel
you're
like
taking away
sometimes
things
you're
from the
missing-
conversation that
I'm not.
it's
I'm
in your
not.
perception.
I'm picking
And
on
that's
One
what
at a
you're
time,
doing.
y'all.
perception.
Hold on.
But I
was
definitely
saying,
think that
so
that's what
We're
that is.
gonna,
I don't
we're gonna let her.
believe
We're
in
gonna
any
let
of
her
those things. I
finish.
believe in the standards of it. And the
Neuro,
standards.
we're gonna let her
And the
finish,
standards.
and then we're gonna let her
Don't
finish.
put
and
words
then
in my
you
mouth.
could,
We
you
gon-
could, you could believe
I'm just
in the
saying we
standard
gon-
of it all, but you
we
just
gonna let
seem
La finish,
quite biased
and then
to it if you agree to a lot of monogamy.
My number one thing
And
was
you also
is that we're
agree
putting
on
labels on
polygamy,
things that are
things
all this that are exactly all the same,
But
different
as
on
a
the different
therapist,
idealism.
that's
And
your
had you
job
listened to what I said,
But
hold
as
on,
a
had you listened,
therapist, that's
but
your
had you
job to
Neuro,
put
let
a
her-
had you
let her
listened to
finish.
what
on
had you
multiple
listened to what I
things.
said, you would have understood.
It's
Because I think you're going down the wrong
therapists who
route.
give you
Had you
different
listened
names
to
for different disorders.
I'm not giving
You are
anybody.
the
I
type
give
of person to put
nobody any
names and
names
labels
at
on
this point.
things.
I literally said we're putting
If you
different names to
disagree with
idealism
labels,
of the
that's
people's
what your
idealism.
job does.
That's
What
not what
she's
my job
basic-
personally does, though.
But
And I'm not that kind of
therapists
therapist. I
do
think
that.
that's where you got that messed up too. I think you need to know the difference between the different types of therapists before you speak on therapy in general.
And you need to
One.
know the difference between
Two,
different types of relationships.
perceive-
so you
just
can
perceive-
also agree. If you
First
would
of all,
like for us
honey,
to
I
agree
understand
with
the
that, you
different types
have
of
to agree
relationships.
with
What I'm
that.
saying is, and you're
Okay.
missing the
That's
point. Once again, you're
biased.
still on the point because you're in
That's
defense.
biased.
Because you're in defense
That's
right now.
just-
Because you're in
okay,
defense
I'm
right
not
now.
defense.
Okay,
So
okay,
you're
okay,
still missing the
okay,
point because you're in
okay,
defense right now.
okay,
And I get it. Because you're in defense right now. I get it.
hey,
Because you're in defense right now.
hey,
once again, I'm not against anybody's relationship. I'm not going to keep time.
We're going to keep.
Hold on. Using the same name
Listen.
You're going in the left field, shorty.
This
you going in. That's your perception. And you're going in the left field.
This episode,
it's not double sided. Had you listened to the conversation, you would exactly understand what I'm saying. You're talking to right now. And that your body's in that side of sentence right now. You're taking offense to anything that anybody said, just like the last time you took offense.
Girl, you yelling in my ear.
And that's because you're in a relationship.
Okay, so this is
relationship, shorty. Get left.
This is what I was saying.
You simmer the fuck down.
Simmer the fuck down.
Hold on, y'all.
Shorty, don't get loud. Don't get loud. You in the middle. You in the middle. Don't get loud in here. Don't side talk. 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 Don't side talk.
Listen, I said this show.
That's your perception.
This show. Listen, this show is circled around different types of people, different type of relationships that are not the norm. This is a show to support each and every type of person, each and every type of relationship, because everything is not the same. Everything is not normal to you. I've told y'all on the last show, your fucking perspective is your experience. The reason why you have a perspective is because how you experience your life, your things. Me, I've been monogamous all my life. There was once of a time where I experienced poly because my perspective at the time. So what we are going to do, part 2 was supposed to be a space that we are able to be here and talk about the perspectives and the feelings that we went through from being monogamous and what we went through from being poly, how we got there, and what put, like, all of that. And so we have people that are on both sides of the spectrum be able to come together and explain that. Like, how did you get there? That's why I always ask the poly people, what happened? I can say what happened to me. And then you got people that are monogamous. Now, there are different categories. Yes, there are. There are categories because these different people, women and men, had dynamics between others that were in a relationship. A ship of relation with them to where they were in agreement, and we said, this is what we're doing. They created a dynamic, they categorized it, named it, and then other people said, okay, I'm human like you, and I feel weird, so I'm like you. So they created a dynamic not to wake up in the morning and find something to do. So we have to give each other grace. Give each other grace in the perspectives, because grace means that I give you room to understand your experience. That's all I'm asking. Give each other grace. Go ahead, Hasib.
Oh no, I was just singing. I didn't have nothing to say. I was trying to calm down.
God.
Did y'all hear me blowing that looser?
I heard
I did.
Let me say something real quick. I believe in defining, especially with relationships, you have to define
something. Yes.
Everything, because I'll just be a moment of transparency. Back in my younger years, I was wilding. I was doing everything I wanted to do. And
I just asked you, did you do that? You told me no.
No, but listen.
She sure did. You over here lying already.
I said no. I said West Side.
Hold up.
No, I said West Side.
He was single. He wanted to know.
Y'all gotta let me talk. Y'all gotta let me talk.
Okay.
Again, before I was single. I was single. I had no attachments.
Okay, West Side, though, I love you so much.
Again,
but I asked you, did you have that phase? Did you have the thoughts?
That's not what you asked me.
Oh God, yes, I did. I said, did you?
Well, excuse me for misunderstanding your question.
Speak your truth,
but
baby.
Yes, I had my thought phase when I was single. Absolutely.
Okay.
But the reason why I defined everything is because somebody that I was involved with had a totally different expectation of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, I'm an empath. I feel everything. I don't like hurting people. That's just me. So, when I saw that, it's like, okay, I got to move a little different. I got to let people know what's what. And from that moment on, I'm always honest. Either, hey, it is what it is. We gonna be exclusive. We not gonna be exclusive. If this is just a fling thing, this is just a fling thing. If this is casual, this is casual. I don't participate in that no more. But I live by definitions. That way, you can't ever say I did you wrong. I can't say you did me wrong because we had clear definition of what the hell was going on.
And I want to say one more thing. I want to get on my soapbox. I just want to say one more thing for anybody else. We as a people have been in, because I told y'all, that's when we were talking about meta relationships before we got to poly. My other episodes was about meta relationships and people taking them serious and things like that. There's things within me because of the way I was raised. I was raised in a very strict Christian home. And I was guarded a lot, which is why I felt like I went out and tried to experience a lot because there were things I was so curious about. And in that, I'm almost 40, and I go through phases in my dating life that I feel guilty for something that I participate in. That's why I like to stretch the hand of tell me about your dynamic, because I feel like now we are in a space in our community that it's okay to create the dynamic that you want for you. Your mama and them been married for 5 years, and your daddy was working on construction, and he never cheated. He paid the bills. Your mom cleaned the stove. But there's things outside of that, and now you're doing it, and it feels weird to you. That's what this space was for. And I want people to have be able to speak on these different relationships. And like I said, like we need that. Like, let's speak on it. I can date a frog and then go get a girlfriend and me and her fucking and worship a frog afterwards and call it something. I know somebody else gonna say, Shakila, that's not real. No, the fuck it is. It's real in my mind. Like, let's be clear.
Exactly.
You create what you want. So when we say, oh, well, these titles aren't valid, yes, they are, because they manifest. And then you'll have other people that will say, hey, I'm with what you're saying. I don't want us to come from a place where, well, you're just you being, selfish or nothing. Like, let's be open and mindful, because like La was saying, she was hurting, loving somebody, and then she got somebody to fill that gap where she was at. I'm not mad at that. I feel like that's valid.
That's the problem. Nobody had anybody's relationship in here. But what we're saying is that the more you talk about, first of all, I had to look this up because this was crazy to me. There's like 4 different problems. One, like, it's a lot. Yes, it's because it changed it. And what I said earlier, that it just changes idealism of the perspective of the person, and that's it. All I said. Secondly, nobody's against it. There's not a problem. I was asking why. I waited for a response, and then I got circled around the response. So that's what I asked the first time. I said, why do we keep changing the name? Because isn't it just the same thing? Or we're just changing the idealism, which is different. But why? I'm not probably going to tell you why. Hold on, no, because when people say wifey, because when people say like wifey and things like that, I said it's all idealism. So what changes the dynamics in this relationship? This is what I asked earlier. Each person's feelings, and that's what he said. That's all the response that happened here. But I literally said, isn't it the same thing? And then Shorty Doo said the same thing. She said she had changes in her relationship. The dynamics changed, and then the idealism of what that was supposed to be was different. That's in any relationship. Any relationship. I said, why do we keep giving names? Because isn't it sort of the same thing? And when we went back and forth,
but okay, the why is what she was answering to.
The
why is what the why is what she answered you. Okay, so this is where the confusion comes in.
Confusion happens.
When you said why, that's what she was answering to. She's giving you the why. The why for her is one thing. The why for Pervy is another thing. The why for Angel is another thing. The why for Price is another thing. The why for Shakila is another thing. And that's how you come up with the different dynamics, because we're all doing the same thing, but the why is how you get the different categories. It's not to be, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm just saying I
asked, I said, then why don't you just be, no, you is an asshole. But I'm just saying, why didn't you just be free? Why do you limit yourself to what that's supposed to be?
That's them being free.
Experiencing something outside of
that. That's them being free. That's them being free.
It's forever changing.
It doesn't have
but that's my thing. If you're identifying as one thing, it's for if you're identifying as one thing. No, we get that. We talked about growth. But I'm saying, like, if you're in one relationship and then
I
this
see what
constantly
you're
keeps changing, it's like that, whatever.
It's
How many
fine.
times these terms? Thank you. Like, how many times are these terms going to keep changing for that? Why don't you
And that's
just say you are
What you
just
mean
free
by
at this
terms?
moment?
Can you
Because a
elaborate
relationship
on that?
depletes.
Yeah, like what do you mean?
but
by
what
that?
if? Okay, so
Because
this
to
is
be
what I
honest, the
just spoke
relationship doesn't
to.
really matter to anybody else. It just matters to the person who's in it. So I'm like, we have like
But-
a million,
So
and,
instead
and
of-
the confusion grows because now, hold on, because now we're teaching it to children that the confusion grows even
No,
more.
we ain't
Like I'm
teaching
talking
shit
about the
to
whole
Okay,
realm of
so
it.
what I'm
No.
saying is
Hold on,
what I
hold on.
just
I'm not
spoke
saying
to
you
is
personally are teaching anything
what
to
I'm-
children. I'm just saying in general.
what I just spoke to
think it
was the
personally.
people that are going through
I'm
the
not taking
evolving.
anything. Listen, let me tell you something.
The people
I'm not
that are
taking
going. Okay, so
anything
you.
personal.
I got you, Lie. Hold on, I got you.
Like-
so you said why? And I gave the example. Angel's different. I'm different. Lie different. Price different. So you got your why. There's different categories. So then you come to why don't you just this and that?
Yeah, you could
But
just-
everything evolves. If I was poly when I was 25, and let's say I was poly because let's say I was amorous then, right? Let's say I was just with different people with no connection but the communication, but everybody knew about each other. But by the time I got 38, no, I want to marry Rello and I want to marry Westside. I evolved. Hold on, let me finish. What I'm saying is what I want to be most clear about is what I tried to say when I stood up. They're not asking for this. This is them evolving into something else without asking for it. And they're not saying that I came up with this because I was sitting in my room digging up my nose. This is I'm just because I've talked to people in these situations and I listen like if y'all the one thing I like that Angel said, she said, I was in middle school. She said, and my brain was functioning in a way where I'm like, okay, this ain't cool, but this is what I'm doing. I want to speak to those parts that this is what they're going through. This is their reality. I know it's outside of this. Like, have y'all ever just met some really, really? It's somebody right now within the metaverse. They come and help me with my world and everything. This person is so smart. When they try to talk to me about food or the weather, I don't understand what the fuck they saying. But I know it's because you're just they are just so fucking smart. It's just I can't get on a level with him. But it's not because he's weird or nothing, but that's just where he's at. So that's why I said, like, these people are evolving. You just don't become poly and then at 25, and then by the time you 45, I say, hey, Angel, what you been up to? And she's going to tell me the same story she told me at 25, at 45. Does that make sense? So that's how I feel like the different categories, the different dynamics come up because as you evolve, your relationships evolve. But that's just me. We're going to get back to the hot seat. Come on, CJ. Let's get to the hot seat.
Can I real quick, bro?
Okay, go ahead, Westside. We're going to get to the hot seat.
And I think I understand what you're saying. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. I think what Nero is saying is instead of having to go through the process of defining or the label, if you're of the mindset of I want to be poly, why not just exist freely without having the weight of the commitment in the marriage or whatever have you, and just be.
But what if that's not where their heart is at? So you're saying
because the dynamics
Angel.
always change, which is what in everybody's story the dynamics keep changing. So that you're on mute,
Sometimes it
sweetheart.
doesn't say. It doesn't say. It doesn't
okay.
say
So
the same
go ahead,
sometimes,
CJ.
but,
Go ahead, CJ.
The reason why they have dynamics is like, for instance, when you want to get advice from someone that's a part of the community, right? You're not gonna go
Yes.
to somebody that's gonna be just completely M MVM or whatever, or
What's
who's
what's
gonna
that?
be there, or male,
What is MVM?
female.
What's MVM?
Male.
Sometimes male and male.
What is it?
Yeah, male and male, but
Okay.
they different. Are you gonna go to someone else that's a different dynamic? You want the dynamic that speaks to you. So like I said before I got on here, I said I was married, so I've been in polyamorous for I think first 2 years of my marriage. So from there, and then the divorce happened 10 years. So I was married for 10 years. So polyamorous for 8. So when we got advice from those that
Those
was
people,
in the
yeah.
community. That's why you have it. That's even with the LGBT community. They have someone that they speak to that that is a part of their community that they talk to. It doesn't matter that or that they sick or they something like that. Those labels they speak to them or they get advice from them. They want to know what goes in on it. That's kind of like when people talk about the Aquarius signs or
Thank you, CJ.
Sagittarius. It's just something there to be a classification. So when I go to get the right advice, I go to the right people. Because if you get the wrong advice
Yeah.
from the wrong
Keeps
person,
things organized. I guess.
Yes.
it's messed up.
Yes.
And that's all
That makes
all it
sense.
is.
That's definitely a better.
But
Yeah, that's
once
definitely
again,
because I mean,
makes
like,
like I said
yeah,
at first, a lot of relationships, like even with therapists, because the thing about it is my mother's a pastor. I know I've been around ministry for the longest. Um,
Come on, CJ.
so the thing
Because
about
we
it
are the
is
ones that feel the worst. We're the ones that
worst.
feel the
the
worst.
one that feel the worst about
I
it.
was like
So the
that.
thing that you have to realize is where does it stem from? You also have to put into the case that right here in America, we're fixed in on a
yes,
monogamy relationship. Western culture, that is
definitely
something
is now.
that is, and it's been around. In the Bible, it was around.
It's around.
In
Yep.
it's been around. But the thing is, what you have to realize with anybody, when I tell anybody about their relationships, because right now I'm in a monogamous relationship, you have to be honest with the person that you with. I love my babe to death. We're
Mm.
honest, and
Mhm.
when I told her that I was coming off of being, I was polyamorous. It was and she's monogamous. Well, guess what? It was her choice to be like, yeah, I'm gonna still talk to you. And then it was my choice to be like, okay, I'm gonna put this to the side. If you love someone, you'll sacrifice.
Yes.
Period. Point blank. Period. If
Would you ever go
I
back?
really no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. That's the
Mm.
thing. I'm happy.
Mm.
And not only that, my
You
relationship
felt that
don't
in
have
your,
to
you felt
deal
that
with
in your soul,
nobody
didn't you?
else.
Mm-hmm. You felt
There's
that in your soul.
Because
You
that's
felt
not the
that in your
first time
soul
I've
right there.
heard.
That was
That's not
heartfelt
the
right there. You
first
felt
time
that
I've
in your
heard
soul.
that. I think the
Yeah.
I think the underlying
That's a
key
big
is
jump.
yeah. I
That's
think the
it.
underlying I think
It's
the underlying factor is trying to find
Happiness.
happiness
Happiness.
within that space
Connection
of
and happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
and
right.
that's it. That's
Yes.
it. The thing
Yes.
is, relationship is always gonna be a battle. If you get in a relationship, know that you're gonna have to work. Relationship don't make you happy. You gotta wake up in
You
the
gotta
morning
work.
and
You
be
gotta
like,
choose the
Exactly.
yo,
person every single
if I
day.
can't stand
Exactly.
her at this point, I have to have enough
Mm-hmm.
love to say I still love the person that I met
Mhm.
and
Yep.
stay with that person. And so the thing is, at the end of the day, it's between me and her. Notice that I
Exactly.
didn't say nobody else.
No, but them about.
I didn't say
Yep.
Westhold. I didn't say Price. I didn't say La
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate. It's between me and her. So whatever
Yep.
dynamic
Dynamic.
you and the person pick is between you, that person, and that. That's why I said some people are not
I
meant for
love Papa.
polyamorous
I know I'm not.
relationship
Why you sneaking
because
up
they're
like that,
not honest.
Papa?
Because he always, y'all listen.
I'm done. I'm
We
done.
can finish, but Lord, listen. I can't be serious around this man. This man killed me so nice.
CJ,
I
thank you
almost had
so
to call
much
the
for that
ambulance
breakdown. I
and
appreciate
give
that
me some
information
damn
very much.
CPR.
Thank you.
And listen, this is what I was talking about
That
as
was
far
like the
as
best.
transparency.
Tell
There's
water.
some people that were poly. Like I told you, me, I'm monogamous. I was poly. I don't know what I am right now, but I and then you got people that are poly and went monogamous, and that's why I said I don't want the most thing that I want everybody to take from this is your situations and the thing that you go through. You're not picking it to be selfish. You're not picking it because you want to hurt others. It's what or who you are, and who you are should never be questioned, right? Like, let's be clear. Even though it's out the normal from what mama and them did and grandmama and them did, you are who you are. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't feel like you need an explanation for that. That's just where you're at. And there's other people out here to meet you where you're at. You are not alone. So that's why I say, like, I make these spaces. Every space that I make is for that. I want to meet the people where they're at. And like I said, the poly thing for me, I'm like, I've been aggressive. I've been, nigga, who, that's your mama texting. Nah, your mama ain't texting you at 12 o'clock at night. Who the fuck you think
Can you make a
like,
promise?
I've been that person. Like, I've been possessive. So for me to be a Leo and be in a poly relationship, it was out of this world. And not only not out of this world, the way I was raised. Like I keep telling you, I was raised in a very.
And when it gets there, let me know.
I was raised in a
Was I talking?
Yeah, you was.
Yeah, I was raised in a very strict Christian home. So that's why I said, like, the reason why I like doing these segments is because I want people to know that you're not alone. Like, we could talk about this. And I love West Side, for instance. I love his point of views. The last show, he was like, let's just be clear, because this is what I said on the last show. For me, the only man that I've ever dealt with to be completely 1,000, hit me with all the information, he was poly. A monogamous man give me half of the information, acting like we fucking around and we cool, and then I have to find some shit out on my own. But you monogamous, but you're not being honest. So that's why I had so much respect for the poly community, because their biggest thing is communication. And us as women, let's be clear, you want him to talk to you and tell you what's going on. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody. I just speak from my experiences. From my experience, the only men that's been 100% open with me about what their dealings are with other women are poly men. That's just me.
I'm a Baptist myself.
Shut up. Papa, get your ass in the chair. I want to ask Papa. Papa, get your ass in the chair. Get in the hot seat. Get your ass in the chair.
Put the bottle back.
Could you be poly? Papa, could you be poly?
Hold on.
Oh, my God.
God is good all the time.
You do the Abraham. Abraham. Hold on. Abraham was poly.
I'm a Baptist. I'm nigga first.
Abraham.
I'm nigga first. How they last?
So, Papa, could you date? Are you single or are you in a relationship?
No, I'm married 5 years.
Okay, so in your marriage, the things that you provide for your wife on a daily basis, would you be able to do that with 2 women at a time?
Hell
I'm
no.
talking about the love, affection.
Oh, with the love, affection, yeah, but spending wise, hell no. Things going up now. Gas up.
Okay, can I add to that?
If she got her own though.
Listen,
Yeah.
I will say this. I was in the High Five Lounge with Nemo and them this morning, and they were talking about tonight's segment. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't get to that point, but I will be, I got grown children, and then I got 2 little children. But I would be poly for a bitch to come in and help me babysit and pay these bills. I ain't going to lie.
I'm done.
I ain't going to lie. If she'll come in and babysit and help pay some bills, girl, come on. You can take that dick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because people,
She belongs
no, let's
to
be
the
honest.
streets.
No, it belongs to the people she chooses to be with.
Ice
Man, come back, Ice.
dude.
Ice, come back.
What?
I
said for the
she
street.
do belong to the street.
To the
Okay,
street.
so let's think about it. Okay, y'all.
belong to.
Let's set the tone.
He was being
Let's
sarcastic.
say you in a relationship and your man brought another woman in the home, and while your man working hard, he come home at night, he frustrated and this and that. It's a third person in the home. She's not only making money and bringing it in, she babysitting and all of that with the kids. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah,
They said to take a tribe.
No, because it's good for you. But as a man, as a man, right? There's times where somebody might have a little attitude. And now I got not only deal with one, I got to deal with 2. I'm good. I'm good.
That's a true statement.
I'm cool. I'm good.
That's a true statement. That's a true
I
statement.
can't juggling 2 personalities and juggling 2 different. You got to. In order for you to fully take care of a woman, it takes a lot. You got to take care of them spiritually, mentally, monetarily. It's a lot.
No,
Me
you don't
personally-
because okay, so West Side, this is me being honest. So let's say you live good because for me, from looking at your Instagram, you are pretty great where you're at. What
I
if
do
you
love
had
myself.
two? Okay, so what if you had two extras to like exactly where you at right now? You had two extra income. Let's not talk about the when she emotional or nothing. I'm talking about the greatness
to.
of. Hold on, no, I'm at. Hold on, we gonna stick to this one point. What if you had two extra incomes within there that are bringing that same greatness?
But with the extra income comes extra things that are attached to that.
Oh my God, y'all! I heard.
You gotta
who
put
was
it into.
that? I heard somebody.
What you
The
saying?
ice.
You gotta
The
put it
ice.
in. You gotta put it in perspective. I don't look at anything on the surface level. Like that's like me. That's like me getting out to the drug game. I realize I can make all this money, but I'm not
Okay,
paying
but
attention to the.
what if they okay? They're okay
what
with
I'm
each other. They're not arguing. They just want you to come home
It's
and
not
fuck
about.
both
It's
of
not
them.
about them arguing. It's you still gotta juggle two women personalities. At the end of the day, that's a lot. That's a lot
She
to
already
deal
got
with,
seven.
especially in
It's
the same
like
household.
7 per person. 7
and
personalities per person.
I personally,
Unless you
I personally can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. Ain't no
Then
case
she
I'm
got
not
14.
gonna do it.
and take Rello's spot.
Then she got 4. Then she got 14
Take Rello's
Papa. Then
spot.
she got 14 to double it up.
To me, that's interesting though. I think it's interesting to be able. I don't look at it as a problem.
Right here,
or
Papa.
too much.
God
I
bless
think
you.
I look
How you
at
doing?
it
God
as
bless you.
all
God
right,
bless you.
this
How
one
you
right
doing?
here this week is having something that he may be going through, and he may be attitudinal,
Well,
and
damn.
this one
Just
is
wait
doing
a
just
second to get
fine.
into the scene.
That
Yeah, there
just
you go.
shows me at that point in time that this partner of mine needs a little bit more attention, where this one is
not doing
okay.
that.
But if both of them get upset, then
Yeah.
you just ease into both of them. You should know your partners that well enough to be able to.
I'm not
shouldn't
trying to
have
be
to-
vulgar, but I bet
Behold.
you when both of them in there giving you some head, you'll be all right.
I've had threesomes. Threesomes
Sorry.
are overrated.
To me, but let's dumb it down.
Oh,
Can we dumb it down?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because like you
Let's dumb
got
it
you got
down.
more than one really close friend, right? Right? You
Yeah.
got more than one really close friend. So
Yeah, absolutely.
take the friendship aspect, and I'm just talking about the basis of any relationship. You care for your friend. If your friend going through something, you going, you're an empath. You said you're gonna try to like talk to someone, or hear
Right.
problems. But if you have another friend that's going through something too, are you gonna tell that friend no because you're already dealing with the other friend, or you gonna like talk
But
to
it's
the
a
other friend too?
relationship.
That's
That
a
makes it
different story because I'm not romantically involved with them.
No, but I'm saying the
Okay,
basis of
so
a relationship,
explain-
because I'm saying
ask-
you have the capacity, you choosing not to as well.
Price, ask him why is it so different because
I'm just
they're
being logical and
remote.
rational.
Ask him Price why is it different
Excellent.
because they are emotionally,
Your friend shouldn't receive the same
romantically
type of love
involved.
that
Why
Because
is it
I don't-
different?
Well, this not
I-
love. This
I-
talking about dealing with people as in like they're upset about something. It might not even be about
But-
you. You might have a bad day at work.
Well,
But
that's
his
cool.
rebuttal is because if I'm romantically involved with both of them, I can't juggle that. But what is the difference in what Price is saying
It's just
and
sex.
being
You just
romantically?
That's it.
Yeah,
No, it's
what's the
more than
difference?
just
So for
sex.
Come
me,
on, Price.
In my
I'm
opinion,
looking at
in my
it
opinion,
like
that's
this.
it. That's it.
I'm looking at it
So
like
sex
this,
is the
right?
only thing that changes a relationship from a friendship to
Yep.
a
From a romantic relationship
belong
to
to the
like a
streets.
platonic
Just
relationship.
sex.
Because you know what? I'm not trying to be
Wow.
put nobody business
No,
out
I'm
there,
not.
but
Oh, no.
so many people within this. This is why I even start making these spaces in the
I'm talking about a
metaverse
really close
because
friend, like a best
so
friend.
many people come to me on a daily basis, and that's why I became friends with Neuro. Is because I felt like she could identify with me because she has to juggle that same thing in her real life. People come to me all the time for advice, like I'm a sensei and I'm just as retarded as anybody else. Like, I don't know shit. I know. I'm just saying, like, all I can do is
shouldn't even know like
comfort you, and that's why if you see my stuff on Instagram, I just motivate you. I'm not no better than anybody else. All I can do is motivate you. So I say, if I could juggle all y'all calling me, texting me, and all of that to ask for advice, what's the difference in the romantic? Because hold on, I got you. Hold on.
I think there's a big
What
difference.
I'm asking you to explain what would be your problem or defense in the in the romantical realm, West Side.
Because
What's the difference?
so okay, I'm gonna answer this right. The difference between it being me and two women and I'm emotionally attached and like a best friend is gonna sound harsh.
lot.
But at the end of the day, when me and my best friend are done talking, that's it. The water that water line is cut off for that moment. I don't have to go home to them. I don't have to be responsible for them at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm not, they're not in my household. I don't have to take care of them like that. That's the difference. So now I got to come again. I've already got a lot on my plate dealing with work, my business and all that. So I got to come home to not only one, but another woman that's dependent
Sounds like
on
a
me.
burden to you though, to even have
No,
to
it's a
come
burden.
home.
It's a burden. No. I'm not saying it's a burden. What I'm saying is, if I had a wife, I vowed to her I'm going to take care of her through thick and thin, good through bad, through worse or through better. That's understandable. But again, I can't put that much energy into two different women.
Yeah,
I can't
well,
do it.
Not everybody. It's not for everyone.
Exactly,
It's
but
not for everyone. And it's okay
that's
for it to not be that way. It's
right.
who you
Exactly,
choose and how
but
you choose. So
right, it's just so much you got to do on top of running a business, on top of being in corporate America, on top of doing stuff in here, and I got family stuff going on too. It's just hard for me to ideally think I'm going to be able to fully take care of two different women at the same time. To me, for me, in my definition, for me, that's unrealistic. I don't need them. I don't. They could take. I'd rather have one woman take care of me. I don't want two women take care of me. Because that means I got to take care of two women.
Until
So-
you
I can't just take care of one. I take care of the other.
He said, "Dick him down." You don't hear him side talking.
Just dig him down, west
Dick him
side,
down.
keep him moving.
I'm dying.
That's all you gotta do.
He said,
You
"Dick
know
him
what
down
I'm
and leave him alone."
It ain't that easy.
Keep him moving.
It ain't that easy.
It
it
can
isn't.
be.
So you don't got that kind of stamina.
No,
It ain't-
You don't
it's
got
I'm
that kind of
telling-
stamina.
because when people listen,
You
when
you
people
got
fall
hold
in
on.
love,
You
that's
got
what
two.
makes it different. It's not that easy at all because there are emotions and love and feelings involved. You can't just dig somebody down and just call yourself being in a relationship with them
Lie.
and think that that's
I
enough.
think that
I think there's a huge gap between a friendship and a relationship. Like
I
it's
think
different.
Westside's perspective and from his experience, it is hard just to do one, so I can't do two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what about somebody like Price that's like, hold on, let me finish. Hold on. So what about somebody like Price that was like, nah, that little shit that I gotta do for that one, I have enough to spread for two. And that's where the different perspectives come in. Well, let's say this is the case, right? Now let's say there was someone that made it easy for that one on West Side. What if it's just who you are? Like, I don't want to love another person. I just want to love you. There's nobody else that I can make room for because the way my thought process, the way I work in my heart is, I just want you. Is that it? Can we say that's where we're at? Even if it was easy for you to love two.
I would rather only have one. But again,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So don't say
everything
you're not
able.
able.
No. Hold on now. I look at everything in the totality. Again, so let me not use the word hard. It takes a lot to love a woman properly and to keep her fully engaged and fully satisfied and fully in a marriage or a relationship, even in relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't. Again, for me,
I agree.
I just think it's
Well, for
unrealistic.
me, I make this shit look easy.
So hold on, Pervy. All right, so are they in the same house?
Wait, hold on, Wes, hold on, Perv.
Go ahead.
The last time you said you do it different, you do it differently though, right? So you're in a longer term relationship and then you end that relationship. Did I get that right from the last time when you said you was a serial?
All right, no, from the last one, no.
Sorry,
See,
yes.
me, I always been like this since elementary, but you know, growing up, you're a kid, you know, you fully don't understand the dating aspect. You feel me? So yeah, I was like, I had to be monogamous because of society. But once I got older, and I, got to understand it more, monogamy wasn't for me. Like I knew that since I was young.
Yeah.
So CJ said, like I had to make a sacrifice. Like I had to literally break up with somebody that I love to actually be the person I wanted
Who
to
you
be.
are. Yep, who you are.
Like I had to make a huge sacrifice. It wasn't nothing wrong with her. It wasn't nothing. Like I just made a huge sacrifice to break up with somebody that I actually love and really could have saw myself with if I was monogamous.
Damn.
Okay. I was gonna say
Damn.
something. Go ahead.
Angel,
La.
what about you? Oh.
Honestly, I'm in the same boat as Irby was. It was like I got into monogamous relationships just because, when I saw the person, it was just like I was hooked off the vibe. I didn't even get a chance to have that conversation of let's talk about, monogamy, poly things. It was just automatically, oh, if I talk about this, I may look weird. I may even lose my chances of even talking to this person. So I had to push that aside for myself. And then once
Somebody got hurt.
my relationship with my kid's father was over, it was like every person that I'm with now, it was just like on day one, I'm just like, so how do you feel about poly? Because like I'm not wasting nobody's time, and I don't want my time wasted anymore. So it's just
that's how I was. Like now that I date, hey, that's day one. Yo, let you know that I'm poly. So you take it how you want to take it. You still want to talk to me? Cool. If you don't, hey.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. Let me ask this real quick. My bad. So okay. So I understand. From what I understand, you are married.
Yes.
Okay. So and you have another wife, right?
Yes. I got a meta wife.
Okay.
Player.
So that's where the table turns. It's a little different.
Papa.
It's a little different.
He back here talking the shits over here.
Okay, we didn't stick to that point, so I'm glad Westside brought that back
come
up.
here, please. Oh shit!
We didn't.
Sorry.
We didn't stick to that point. I'm glad Westside did that. Go ahead, Westside.
So it's a little different now, right? Because you're not having to take care of a woman 24/7 outside, an additional woman in your house. It's a different thing now. Yeah. Versus, I got my wife in the house and I got another wife in the house.
But I feel like emotionally it's heavier than physical.
It's not, but I can still cut that faucet off if I need to.
Because
I don't have to see. I don't have to see you every day. I don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I got you.
But I don't have to hear you breathe every day. I don't have to take care of your needs every day.
Okay, so I
can cut you off by tapping this little button on the side. It's a little.
That's the point I was trying to make earlier. So are we on agreement on that? Like, there is a such thing as being poly, even if you're okay. So let's say like Pervy, he's married or whatever he got going on in the real life, and then he has a meta wife. That is still categorized as poly, right?
Yeah, and they talk to each other. Yeah, they know about each other.
Oh, she getting a flight. She about to fly out. Don't worry about it. So she about to fly out. Okay,
you know
so okay,
make some room at the house.
She about to fly out. Don't worry about it. So we are in agreement with that. There's a such thing because people say, well, you're not poly if you're not messing with both people in the real life, right? So
you can still be. Absolutely, you are.
Oh, I do. I fuck with both in real life. I just don't talk to the meta wife on here. Like we actually talk. We actually get whole conversations on the phone.
Out here. That boy on the field for real.
Yeah,
that boy on the field for real.
We just messing.
My meta wife is So Oakland 93. If anybody know who she is.
Okay, he representing.
He throwing it out there.
Okay. That's the meta wife. We actually talking. We actually talking real life.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's my. But she's not your meta boo. There's a big difference, right? She's not your meta boo.
It's not a meta boo as soon as you get in real life. Y'all calling each other on the phone.
She your partner,
it's
right?
not a meta boo no more. Yeah.
I don't know. Some of these people done moved over to Instagram. Some of them done moved over to Instagram. It's been live. I've been watching these stories on Instagram. Is getting
It's like
I'm
crazy.
telling you, the fights is real between here
Oh,
and the
yeah, they do
Metagoose
get
and the
messy in the
Instagram.
meta.
It is
I've seen
But
quite a few.
again, I tell
Lord,
people all the
crazy.
time, had a conversation. Stop
Yeah,
trying to
that's
do
all it
sneaky
takes
shit
is the
behind people's back.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah, just have a conversation.
but they're not
So
trying to. They're
we
not trying to do that. A
are-
lot of people not trying to do that.
I wanted us to go through some categories tonight. I think we did. Did we get there? Do y'all feel like we got there?
I think it was
I
a
think
better
we did.
conversation than last time.
I just
Yeah.
came in like 10 minutes, so I don't know what category.
Yeah,
So I think the
I
good
would
thing.
price
Papa.
on that. It was a better conversation than last time.
Right. I
Last
think the
time-
good thing. I think the good thing is
Yeah.
right is that we have a basic foundation of what the original poly definition is, and then we also have the knowledge of there are different factors in that tree of poly,
Okay, yeah.
and the fact that now we have faces and names people can put and ask questions if they ever so desire. And it's not where do I go for this information? I think that's the ultimate good thing that came out of this whole discussion. Through the heatedness, through whatever, like all that stuff don't matter. At the end of the day, everybody here. I mean, and let me say this: when things get heated, nobody's like I'm gonna go come see.
We're
like,
not mad at each other, y'all.
We're
It's
not mad at
just
each
us
other.
being
It's just-
passionate.
it's
We're just
it's a spirited
passionate.
conversation. Right.
Yeah, we're just
let's
passionate,
make that
that's all.
clear. And so yeah, we all have names and faces we can put and ask questions if we need to. If again, that's if you guys desire.
Go ahead, Bryce.
You guys,
I was
you
gonna
guys
say
ask me questions
last
anytime.
last time I mentioned a lady on Instagram, her and her husband have been married, I think 20 or 30 years, and they're poly, and their other partners are involved in their kids' life and all that stuff. But I brought her up. Her Instagram was progressive_love academy. Well, actually, it's an underscore in between each word, progressive love academy. But she just posted that she actually now is going to have a show on TLC talking about all this stuff that we're talking about. So if y'all are actually interested in just learning or just watching, it's going to be on TLC. I might have to make a post about it to talk about the time and stuff. But it was ironic that she posted like she's moving from Instagram and now has a platform on an actual, TV show. You know what I mean? So it'll be
That's
interesting
amazing.
watch. Yeah.
And I said last show the reason why we even I came up with this segment is because we had an Instagram thing that Miss La came up with about just being transparent on poly, and that's how we started this. Because like I said, any space that I make, I hate to throw this out, y'all, Thursday I'm opening up a ladies lounge that's only for the women, but the grand opening will be for men. After that they can't come through, but that's just for us to have a space to be transparent. If you poly, you trans, you gay, you is thirsty, you've been on crack, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever it is, I've made a space for us to come through to make it comfortable for you to say your truth. So anytime you see me making a space or opening it up, it's because I want it to be safe. And that's why I got on the table earlier to let them know, even though we're arguing, or it sounds like we're arguing, this is still a safe space. Before I say what I want to say, I want to thank all of these people for coming out. My panel, they are amazing. I want to thank La very personally, because it's hard, y'all. That's the one thing about our community. There's so many stigmatisms that it's not normal for us to say the differences, the abnormal. We call it abnormal, but that's your normal. How does that feel for somebody to say that your normal is abnormal? That's not comfortable, right? So I want to thank her for that, for her being so transparent, because your normal is real, and we have to give you your flowers for that. And we have to let you know, just because that's your dynamic, which is what poly is about, creating your own dynamic. And I said earlier, if I like to kiss two frogs every morning, I wake up and then I bring a man and a woman in the corner and tell them to slap the wall 6 times, and we come up with a name and call it something, hey, it might not be real to you, but that's real. I'm just saying, that's real to us. I'm just saying. And if I post it, it might be 20,000 people that say, we did that too. Thank you for posting. Like, yeah, so that's why I come out with these shows and segments for that. So once again, We have Pervy. Thank you so much. We got La. We got I Go By Price. We got West Side. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We got Norro, the
Anytime.
fastest talking person you'll ever meet. I love it.
Oh, God.
We got Papa that give me a hard time every time he see me. And
Every
listen,
time.
Angel,
God
the
bless you.
artist, listen, her and Price is one of the best create and La too. These are some beautiful people. Now, I do want to let y'all know my next segment is going to be on labels. Why do you feel like you don't have to marry her? Why you feel like she's not your girlfriend? So you tune in because some people say, no, as long as we cool, and I told you we cool, we ain't got to come up with no labels. Yes, you do. So that's your next segment. I want to thank y'all for coming out. Thank you so much. I am Shakila. Love y'all. We all we got. Let's run it.
Hey.
Y'all was amazing. Thank y'all so much.
I'll be here next week.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we talking about labels.
Pleasure for that one.
And I meant to say whoever wanted. I haven't came up with my panel yet, but I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, we just." She know what it is. I ain't gotta call her my girlfriend. Okay. If y'all want to come out, let me know.
Shit, I saw back there.
See you next time.
Thank you, Angel.
All right, see you.
Beautiful self.
All right,
Thank
love.
you.
See you next time.
I see
You always a fun time, Wes. You always a fun time.
Appreciate you.
What's up, Papa?
Same.
What's up? We here. What's up,
Thank
my
you,
name?
Westside.
You welcome.
My boy Copper.
What's going on?
He give me a hard time every time I see him.
What's going on, Bird? What's going on, Westside?
I'm a boy, man. I'm a
I'm
boy.
chilling, man. I'm chilling,
Yeah.
man.
All right.
Chilling, man.
Leveling must be getting on in a bit.
Forgot where I was
They
for a
supposed to be
second.
getting down. They supposed to be getting down. I just appreciate they brought me in the show. I feel special. I feel very
Only
special.
to you. Only
They brought
to
me.
you.
I appreciate that. Y'all brought me in the show. I
Perv,
feel very
perv.
special.
Pervy Perv. Thank you for always being transparent, Mr. Pervy Perv. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You are such a delight. Such a delight, Mr.
Hey, yo, so what's up? Let's do that, Miss Cox. What's up? You can do it on podcast world. Man, I thought you had the plug, man. You know?